Oh, it is my favorite day of the week because of you. Thanks for stopping in. I'm John Merriman, and this is your Tuesday morning guitar song. If we talk about just the most prevalent form of mass market music, I'm sure we all can agree that we are in the age of rock. And the age of rock started about 1950, is going on today. And in that I include rock, rock and roll, and even hip hop, which uses a rock backbeat. And most of country today is really nothing but rock with a cowboy hat. So if we're in the age of rock, what was happening before the age of rock? Well, that would be the age of jazz. And the age of jazz started in about 1920 and went to after World War II, 1950 or so, when it ran headlong into Elvis Presley, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Bo Diddley. And the age of jazz had two distinct parts to it. It had the early part, 1920 to the mid-30s, and that was called popular jazz or sweet jazz and sometimes straight time jazz. It was a very melodic form of music usually played by a big band with horns and strings, and the people danced the popular dances of the day, the one-step, the two-step, the quick-step, and the foxtrot. Then in the 1930s, they got rid of the strings, and they added a very propulsive rhythm section, and the music started hopping and jumping and jiving, and the rhythm started swinging back and forth, and that was the start of the swing band era. And the swing band era was really fueled by young people who loved the new rhythm. It was hot and exciting compared to the old and traditional and staid older jazz bands. This was their music. And those big swing bands traveled the country playing all the dance halls at towns large and small so the kids could come out and do those great swing dances. It was nothing but fun. And then World War II happened. And after World War II, the musicians came home and it just became too darned expensive to keep those bands on the road. The swing band died the death of the dinosaur. It died very quickly. But what survived from the swing band era were the singers who sang with the swing bands. They couldn't afford the bands, so the singers went off as soloists, like Frank Sinatra or Bing Crosby, Ella Fitzgerald, and Nat King Cole. They carried the swing band era up into the 1960s with their career as solo singers. And you can think like the Rat Pack in Las Vegas. That was really the last vestige of the swing band era. And just as we have cream of the crop elite musicians in the age of rock, they had cream of the crop elite musicians in the age of jazz. These were the musicians who transcended the genres. They wrote the immortal music. And back then, their royalty of musician was not a king. It was a duke. It was Duke Ellington. And Duke Ellington was born in 1899. He got his first band when he was, 24 years old in 1923. And for the next 50 years, he worked every day of his life composing music, playing music on the road until he died in 1973. Duke was considered to have elevated jazz to an art form. He composed over 1,000 compositions in his career, and they were very sophisticated. And he was challenging the boundaries in every form of jazz he worked in terms of form and structure. And he was considered a national treasure. He got his first big break in 1927 when he and his band were hired to be the house band at the famous Cotton Club in Harlem. And there he had a national radio audience that heard him every weekend, and from then on, he never slowed down until 1973. And Duke was a musical treasure, but above all, he was a treasure as a human being. He was kind and generous, and he had a warm and friendly demeanor that put everybody at ease who ever came in contact with him. So, Duke, I know you hear me, and I know in a million years you never thought this was coming your way, but you are the topic of your Tuesday morning fun fact. Here's your Tuesday morning fun fact. In 1969, President Richard Nixon threw Duke Ellington a 70th birthday party at the White House. He invited every major jazz musician of the day to attend. And that evening, he awarded Duke the Medal of Freedom. And that's the highest civilian award you can get in this country. The evening turned into an incredible jam session and is considered to be one of the greatest evenings of music at the White House this country has ever had. Now, it was Duke Ellington's first time at the White House, and it was the first time that a jazz musician had ever played at the White House. But it was not the first time that one of Duke's family members had been at the White House in an official capacity. You see, Duke's father, James Edward Ellington, had been at the White House many times during the Warren G. Harding administration. Duke's father was hired by the White House to be a part-time butler. And that's your Tuesday morning fun fact. Hey, let's play a Duke Ellington song. This one is from the swing era, 1940. It's one of his great jazz standards that he wrote. Almost everybody has covered this song who is a jazz musician. So please, don't go away. I'll be right back. Well, there you have it. Already can't wait till next week. So please, leave a comment down the comment section if you have any corrections, comments, whatever. And if you have any personal experience with the music of Duke Ellington, I would love to hear it. I'm sure others would also. Please remember to share the show on your social media and hit the like button. And please remember to come back next week. Hope to see you then. Bye now.